Bet you haven't heard that, guys. That sound in a long time, people. Welcome to Yoshi, Topsy, Turvy. As you can see, I'm doing a very deep dive into all of Yoshi's lore, including some of the more interesting renditions of this game. And this one is going to be interesting, so let's start off with the main story. He saw that Bowser, the Koopa King, was raising trouble all over. Hungo had no choice but to lock Bowser away in the book. Bowser's latest rampage was on Yoshi's Island. Lock him away! But the Forbidden Pop-Up book did not just trap Bowser, it also locked all of the Yoshi's Island inside of a storybook. As Yoshi panicked, something appeared before him, a single tiny spirit. I am the tiny book spirit, a spirit who loves surprises. I did not wish for the whole island to be entrapped like these, but no one can stop Hungo once he makes up his mind. As you can see, I was fired for opening up my big mouth. We spirits have power, but not enough of it, I guess. We could lock just Bowser away. I'm so sorry. Then again, if you can get on the last page of the book, you can find a way to lock Bowser away. Then maybe Hungo will think about changing his mind. He might just let your little island out of the book. Other spirits are guarding the other pages of the book. If you want to turn the page, listen to what they have to say, and show them what you can do. There are 6 spirits in all. If you convince all of them, they'll let you go to the final page where Bowser awaits. Hey, don't be so mad. As proof of my apology, I'll give you a truly amazing treasure. What kind of treasure? I'll give you the power to tilt this entire world. Look, see, try it. Yes, that's it! That's how you use the power! So long! Chapter 1, The Tale of the Spirit of Cuteness. I just love cute little things. Yes, I'm the spirit who loves cuteness above all. But all of this is not cute in this world now. Listen to this. All my tiny eggling pals, each and every one, they were turned into apples by the evil Bowser. Eggland is mine, all mine. Tasty looking egglings belong to me. Huh? Get back here. You can't run. I'll hunt you down. I found you at last. A little magic spell ought to keep you from running. Please find the egglings and free them from this curse. If you do a good job, I'll give you a happiness medal. I'll let you through here. Yep, and this is how this game starts. As you can see, the story got pretty wild right off the bat. Right away, we get introduced to one of the gods of this universe, and right now, each level, it has a certain mission you have to accomplish. And to actually beat the level is one thing, but to do the mission is another. This one, we just gotta make sure we find these apples and change them back to egglings. But now, let's talk about the controls here, because oh boy, am I doing something interesting for them. As you can see, not only is this a Game Boy game, but it's also a motion game. So how does this work? Well, on these very first couple of worlds, I'm literally in one hand using a GameCube controller, and in the other hand, holding my actual GameCube. And I'm actually tilting it left and right to adjust the world here. As you can see, my hand is a little bit preoccupied, tilting over to the right and left here. Because I'm trying to find a good placement, because holy shit, just trying to tilt a GameCube is hard. And learning to control Yoshi with 2 hands at the same time is also really hard. But hey, this is something I gotta do because I really wanted to try out this game for the first time. Like, I love this little aesthetic, I love this little Yoshi sprite. The cutscenes were cute. And look at Yoshi giving a nice big thumbs up. It does feel a little bit weird to get a close-up of Yoshi's giant green thumb. But oh my god, it is cute. Anyway, and there's actually 2 ways you can beat these levels. Well, first of all, each little world has like a nice little checkpoint on it. It's like 3 obstacle courses mixed into together for 1 level, kind of thing. And honestly, it's pretty cool. Nothing too intensive, since, you know, it's just on the Game Boy, but something nice and collective. And on that note about completing things versus finishing them, as you can see, there's certain missions and goals we can get. There's a minimalist one you can get, where you just need to get the minimum one to get a bronze medal. But if you do everything the level has to offer, then you'll get a gold medal. And just like other Yoshi games, if you get everything, it grants a better chance of getting a bonus game at the very end. And just like that, level 1 is completely finished. And so far as I can tell, you can't really time this very last minigame, just because everything is just blurred together too much. Which is a shame, because I really love manipulating roulettes. Let's move on to level 2, I should say. And as you can see, if you tilt your whole GameCube into one direction, you can actually let Yoshi run on walls. It's actually super cool. Again, they gave Yoshi some of the best gimmicks for platforming ever. It's just a real shame that no one ever really knows about it. And the ones who do are like super old at this point. They just kind of lost all these kind of gimmicks. But as you can see, this stupid little asshole right here, if you tilt in a direction, he will tilt in that direction as well. So you also got to be really careful on how to maneuver around him. And my god, let me tell you, it is not easy trying to maneuver this guy with one hand, tilting the screen with the GameCube in the other. Because my god, you have to be multitasking like a bitch. God damn it. As you can see, I'm very struggling on this part in particular. And I also want to note, this game's music is like phenomenal. I'm so surprised at how much I actually really love the sound in this game. Everything sounds so nice and cheerful when it needs to, scary when it needs to. Why aren't any of these tunes found in any other games? It's crazy to me. But then again, Yoshi just does not push any consoles or games, which is a real shame, because I played through a lot of Yoshi games at this point, and my god, did they give him some of the more interesting gimmicks. And speaking of interesting gimmicks, we move on to the next part. We get introduced to these cannons here. Yep, they follow whatever angle you're tilting the world, so you can shoot Yoshi off in different directions. And I don't know if this was intentional or not, but I feel like I have to hold the opposite direction in order to actually shoot in the direction I want it to go, kind of thing. I think eventually I just made it to where if I was tilting in that direction, it was based more on the cannons direction. Just because the cannons became so integral later on that I literally had to change the whole gyroscope so I can make sure I'm going the right direction. But after dealing with that, we move on to the next stage over here. And as you can see, yep, that's the reason why you don't need to do everything, but at the same time you can. Because literally they just give you a pass like this where it's just one slide, and if you screw up one time, you miss out on 100%ing. Thank god I'm not going to 100% this game, mainly just because I do not want to be having to deal with the GameCube tilting all the time. Because not only GameCubes and everything I have bought for it really fucking expensive, I just don't want to risk my own wrists at this point either with it. But we just continue on. Level 2, not as hard, still not as hard. The only hard part was literally just that one asshole at the very beginning, so I made it back to the end with literally no life, but hey, still made it. And just because I missed a couple apples, you don't get the 100%. But with that out of the way, we make it to the 1-3 over here. Yep, and World 3 is when things start to get a little bit more interesting. Just because the way they handle the eggs is a little bit more weirder now too. Or not the eggs, the apples in this one are more weird. Because now they have time-based objectives for it now. Yep, if you don't start off the level by immediately going on the platform and holding the direction you need to go, you'll miss this green apple here. And you'll have no way of knowing it unless you literally start speedrunning and everything. Again, some of the worst mechanics ever, but still, not, luckily, like I said, not gonna 100% it, so I'm not gonna worry about it right now. Just gonna worry about this red one up here. And another interesting change they actually made to this game is that Yoshi in this game doesn't lay any eggs. Yep, Yoshi gets no egg throwings in this game whatsoever, so it's just some basic platforming with a flutter jump. Again, super weird change, but I guess it's just because the Game Boy is not powerful enough to handle multiple eggs on screen. Which again, understandable, but still, it feels like Yoshi just kind of got neutered. Because having a core feature about him, you know, his eggs, just ripped away from him for no reason, just feels wrong. And as you see, as I'm gobbling up these apples, you can see Yoshi passes a little gas now. Yep, that's meant to replace the eggs in this game. Instead of laying eggs, he just kind of toots a little bit. Again, really weird change, but hey, that's what... Nah, it's just a really weird change. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but we'll continue on the game to see if that actually hinders my experience. Because if anything, it just turns Yoshi more into just a Mario game, which is good, but at the same time, it's no point of making this Yoshi if it could just be done with Mario, with a flutter jump kind of thing. Thinking of it, Mario does have a flutter jump too, in like a tycoon suit kind of thing. Alright, and after completing the pages, all the levels within a world, is up to see if you get all the medals you need in order to proceed. And our objective this time was just to get 2 medals per world, and obviously we got all 3. I 100%ed just to make sure there's nothing else with it, and there's nothing. So, literally 100% it, don't, it's up to you at that point. But we move on to Chapter 2, The Tale of the Spirit of Money. Money makes the world go around. Money is all that matters. Oh, hey you! You got lots of money or what? I'm the spirit who loves money more than anything. You need 4 or more. Happiness matters to pass me. You have to pay me to go down any road. If you want to get past here, good luck! Yep, and we move on to a new god. And as you can see now, each god has their own special little gimmicks. The god of gold here, or wealth, or whatever it was, he just wants us to collect a certain amount of coins within each level. And this level kind of exemplifies how just eating enemies just kind of doesn't matter. So like I said, Yoshi just kind of toots, and that's about it. But what I do love these ones a lot in the cases when it's used, just because it kind of makes you use your tilt controls in really cool ways, and it shows you like some cool paths you can take with your tilt controls. And also, we get a brand new Yoshi power up here, the Yoshi hot air balloon. Yep, sometimes in the levels, if you complete after a certain checkpoint, Yoshi would just transform for no reason. Why does he do this? Well, because the game said he needs to. But yeah, we get a new form of hot air balloon where we just descend and follow a money path. Nothing too outrageous there, but like it's kind of funny how they give a cool cinematic and a nice little theme for it. And after that, we just drop down the pit and finish level 1. And as you can see, we did not collect all the coins, and collecting every coin I'm pretty sure is required for getting gold with this guy. And it's also one of the main reasons why I don't even do it. Because as you saw in the very first one, sometimes coins just fall right down from the sky. And you could just miss it and not even know it. But we move on to level 2 in World 2. And as you see, we're back to the goddess of cute things. And yep, that doesn't mean like each storyline is just focused on one god. Sometimes gods can just intertwine with other chapters. And sometimes even more than one god can have missions per stage. But we get to that when we get to that. We move on to another way they use the tilt controls in here, is to have Yoshi be on a wrecking ball and destroy these wooden bricks. Now these are like the only kind of like bad example of using these motion controls, just because it just kind of stops everything dead in its tracks. But yeah, level 2 still proves no more of a challenge, so let's move on to the next one. But yeah, as you probably noticed, once you get into level 3, the music of the stage is actually dependent on the god we're satisfying. And a lot of these gods have really good fucking themes, I gotta say. Like I said, the music in this game is actually so good, it's crazy. That we never really get to hear any kind of renditions about this ever again. And my god, I keep screwing up my buttons here, because, again, one hand on controller is still not easy, so yeah, just swing my GameCube back and forth to eventually get all the coins up there. And another thing that's super weird about this is like the momentum, because when you tilt your screen, or your console or whatever you're using, it carries like some weird momentum on the direction it is. So when you try to flip to a different direction, you kind of carry it a bit, which is super hard and awkward too when you want to do some precise aiming. But another thing that did cross my mind, because I recently just did finish Yoshi's Island DS. If this is like the very first canonical instance of Green Star Yoshi having his game. If so, this might be his only game then, because every other Yoshi, canonically, is not the main Star Child Yoshi, which is something super interesting to point out, because every Yoshi game at this point just follows some random Yoshi going on, or a clan of Yoshis going on an adventure, whereas the famous green one, piles up with Mario, is most likely the only one with the star powers. Because it's not the only time where we see like green Yoshi get favoritism. Especially in like sports games, it's always green Yoshi that is either team leader or like have special powers. And that's interesting to note. Alright, let's finish off the 2-4. And a cool thing this level introduces is the auto climber over here, where it shows you like a set rail path over here. And depending on where you tilt your screen when it starts descending, is when you're going to start collecting some coins. So just keep a nice memory on the path you want to take, and that's falling, tilt where you want it to go. Pretty cool. And after dealing with that, go on a nice xylophone. It does like Mary Had a Little Lamb, I think. How I wonder where you are. Oh no, it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Stars. Okay, I had to sing it through. Then we make it onto this nice roller coaster where we just hold straight right and we win the level. Again, a nice, simple and clean one. Again, like I said, with Yoshi games, they really like being so extra with level designs and mechanics in it. Like it's crazy like how much it feels like it really does feel like they have so many ideas for almost every Yoshi game, but they can never commit to like a singular one. I guess Yoshi really is just like a hodgepodge of all different kind of platforming challenges and stuff. Guys, I've been through so many Yoshi games, but it does never feel like a single world has like a single theme, except for maybe the first level or the first world. And even then, it's still not even a complete big theme. You know, maybe that'll be a problem fixed once we finally get into the final Yoshi game. I haven't tried out the Woolly World and the new 3DS one. But as of right now, it does not seem like any world has any kind of theming or any kind of commitment to one idea kind of thing. Which again, is a big shame. And you know what? I missed that giant apple, so you know what? I'll show off the spikes killing it right here. Oh cool, that's the same sound effect from Yoshi's Island. Like that's like really amped up bass for it. That's awesome actually. And just an FYI, lives are kind of like this is like the only Yoshi game where lives are actually kind of hard to come by. But it's not really punishing because, like I said, each little obstacle course or world kind of thing, or level actually part of the world is already a checkpoint. And the only thing that running out of lives do is just reboots you back to the world. So it's not really that big of a punishment. But I love that little Yoshi thumbs up directed at you. Yoshi has so many good sprites. I'm like having a collection of little Yoshi sprites all over the here. And in this bonus game, we literally just have to start collecting coins by swaying our camera for the parachutes and the bucket. Kinda difficult, but possible. Look at that little Yoshi sprite. Yeah, and his little joyful song. And we got to the final mission of World 2. Just collect 70 coins. And this guy is really being greedy now. And this is where things get a little bit more interesting, because if you don't start tilting or preemptively doing a direction, you can miss out on some important coinage in the very first one. Really goes to show that you gotta learn how to master these tilting controls. And again, it's probably easier when you actually have both of your hands for control of this, instead of just one. But it also gets really hard to gauge when you need to jump for it, though. Especially when Yoshi's tilted. Okay, it's just super fun. Anyway, we just move on. Once again, we transform into a hot air balloon, because why not? Enjoy a nice leisurely song. Oh, it's over. And we're back on the wrecking ball. Great. Yeah, this level, not too hard. Not really more noticeable things on here. Just that little tech. Other than that, I think that's the end of World 2 right there. as you see, gold, silver, does not matter when it comes to completion. To Chapter 3, The Tale of the Spirit of Power. I can't hear you. Speak up. Louder, louder, louder. I am the spirit who loves all things mighty. So I want you to defeat many enemies. But first, you have to work hard at your training. That's right. We move on to our next god up here. The god of toughness here. And his whole goal is just making sure we defeat a certain enemy type within a level. And for the very first one, we have to defeat 8 Shy Guys. Now these are a good starting off enemy because we can both jump and eat them at the same time. Also introducing us to these piranha plants. We did see them early on, and they are super loud and annoying, but they are one of the biggest nuisances here because, as you see, we have no eggs to defeat enemies now, so we just have to use our basic Yoshi combat skills in order to kill them. Again, this is a really good first tutorial for Spirit of Toughness. And this also shows like how the goal could not also be the goal. You can also just kill enemies on the other side of them too, thanks to the tilting powers. Really fucking cool. But we move on and we're back to the god of greed. Great. A nice little ski jump little thing here. And I love that little Yoshi sign right there. But the ski jump kind of doesn't matter. Just gotta make sure you jump here to grab these coins up here. And then we go into our next transformation, which is actually new. We could turn into a boat! And the way this one works is we don't actually control a Yoshi boat, we control the waves that he rides on. Kind of cool, actually. But as you can see, it's super hard to actually get a hang of it. Because my god, is the waves just really sensitive. Then we move on to the next part of the level. Again, another memorizing the patterns here. But be very careful on this next part. Because right here, if you have any part of the screen tilted, you'll miss the cannon and end the level right away. Again, super BS that they do that right there. But it goes to show like how just beating the level is not the same thing as completing the mission. As you see, you get a little check mark there showing that you did not complete the mission. So let's go back in, do everything all over again. And this is where things, and this is why I will not be 100%ing everything. Just because it, again, with these controls schemes as it is right now, one hand on GameCube, other hand on the controller, you need so much precise movement, it's insane, so definitely not going to go through with that. But I do at least want to get the medals on every level, to say that I did the bare minimum. And I do want to explore at least every part of the level's gimmick as well, just because I really do enjoy Yoshi's gimmicks he has in these games. They're all so interesting, but now after getting the silver medal, we actually get a nice little bonus challenge here. This time it's just hit 5 syllable notes. But we move on to the Spirit of Toughness, where this time we must defeat 8 of these Tippy Tap guys. See, I remember their name now because I've seen these guys so much in other Yoshi games now. And this first one is also a bit tricky because now we have to tilt the console back and forth to eventually get this guy in particular, the spike ball. And I think these killing the enemy ones are some of my favorite levels ever in this whole game. Because not only do they have you do all the game's mechanics in such interesting ways, like here, you actually get to roll up these things and that actually kills enemies for you too. Like that's actually so cool that it never really gets explored that deeply in other kind of Yoshi games. But here, it becomes a requirement if you want to kill as many of these guys as you can. I think this game, like I said, this Yoshi game has so many more gimmicks and ideas thrown at the wall, but it just kind of works really well. I especially love this cardboard and pencil outlines in the backgrounds. It really gives you the sense of a storybook, even with the Game Boy's less than stellar performance and all that stuff. The only thing that kind of drags these whole levels down for me is that I wish the theme wasn't so bland kind of thing. Like, it's a good theme. It really drives the sense that you're murdering people, but at the same time, it just doesn't. It just feels like it repeats its own melody way too often for it to be kind of good. Literally, just listen to the song for 1 minute, and you can see what I'm talking about. Oh, and if you want to kill the last Tippy Tap on the very last one, just make sure you make him roll up the hill up here so the wrecking ball can grab him. But with that, this level is all clear. Let's go on to the 3-4. right after this bonus game. And here we get introduced to these weird, cool little balls here on wires. Again, these are really reminiscent of that one hospital game that's always in every like dentist or doctor's appointment, where it's just balls on a track. Like, it's actually kind of insane, like how similar this is to it. At the same time, I feel like it just works really well with Yoshi's platforming and aesthetic in this game. Again, this game is just really good at combining, making everything feel so childish and so interesting. I think this might be one of the best Yoshi games out there, guys. And I think it's just brought down by the gimmick and how its presentation. Because, like I said, it's definitely not people's favorites for sure. And everything just feels so random and wacky to the point where it just gets insane. Like literally back to back, we just went from a roller coaster and straight into a boat level. Why did this happen? Shut up and just enjoy the Yoshi weirdness. Because it does feel like a lot of these obstacle courses are just randomly placed about. Because after that one, why is there just a pirate ship up here next to some clouds? Who could say? But after that, we just finish off this level. Make sure we get nice 40 coins right there. And it looks like we're back to killing things. This time we got to kill 15 Raphael Ravens. And this is what I meant when they love showing off Raphael can go on many surfaces. Is that this game is just littered with them. And this one just shows how much they love showing off that Raphael can just be on any surface with his claws and talons in there. But other than that, it's just kind of a standard course. Just make sure you watch out because there's tons of death pits here. Yep, and the only interesting note is that on the final part of here, you get these spike balls and these wooden areas. Not wooden areas, you get these stone areas where it shows that these spike balls can actually break through these areas if you just tilt them in the right direction. So it's definitely something to note for later on. So with that, we just finish off the level with eating 25 ravens. That should be a gold medal, as well as a cool little bonus minigame. But it's symbols again, so we'll skip it. Let's move on to 3-6, just another money one. Yep, just avoid the falling pit, transform into a balloon, start swinging around. You should really have no problems with this stage. Then we move on to 3-7, where we get more apples and egglings to do. And this one's already starts off with a mad dash to get all of these apples. And something that you will point out is that on these icy slopes in particular, if you want to move faster on it, you have to tilt your console. You do pick up speed a lot more, and you're able to get these things a lot quicker too. Alright, and after debating on it, I think this guy's theme, Eggly theme, is actually one. I think it's like either the best song in the game or the second best in the game. It's just a nice, really chilling, upbeat theme. That does a really good job of captivating a nice little sense of wonderment for it. And I would say like the god of greed, he's close to it. But you'll see later on, his theme gets repeated a lot, like a crazy amount. I'll show you why in a bit, but that's the main reason why I kind of don't like his theme. It's just because of how much you hear it, it kind of gives away the impact. And the best one, though, is coming up pretty soon. I'll get more into it later, actually. I'm just running out of time because there's not really much to say about this level. Then we move on to the final level, 3-8. A double mission, where I have to bring 45 coins and kill 8 enemies. And this is what I mean when I say that the gold guy's theme gets repeated too much. Just because whenever there's a dual mission and he's involved, his songs are always prioritized, which I think is kind of BS. There's only one other god whose songs get priority over his, but he's at the very end of the game, so you hear this theme a lot. But anyway, this level's actually kind of creative. Well, first off, we had to start killing piranha plants now, which is a brand new enemy we can kill with all the kill controls. However, they're going to start baiting you into ending the level early by having exit portals in the middle of the stage instead of at the end of it. So just make sure you collect everything in the room before collecting the portal. Just finish off this little room and you should be good. And with that, World 3 is all clear. Time for Chapter 4, The Spirit of Speed. Yay! Hang on. You can't just sit around and space out. You're in the way. Huh? You're running? You're slower than molasses. You see, I'm the spirit who loves all things swift. I can't stand people who look around as a slacker. Prove to me you can run fast as the wind. By getting 6 or more happiness medals, then I'll let you go. Now, this world is where I contemplated stopping my whole thing and just turning this video into a little shorts thing. Because not only is this a speedrunning challenge, which on its own would be pretty fine, but it requires such precise tilt control movement in order to even beat the stage that it kind of just breaks my wrist contemplating going left and right so fast that I just cannot keep up with it. Like, it's crazy like how fast you have to turn it in order for everything. And trying to do that with precise motions on one hand and platform on the other, it just seems so unreasonable that I just couldn't keep up. However, as you can see from the video length, this is not where the story ends. Because while I was eating dinner that night, I told my dad about this thing. And you know what? He came up with ideas. Since we had some spare wood and some spare parts laying around for when we were doing some furniture building, we got to work and made ourselves a nice little wooden plank here. That's on like a, I believe it's either a half cylinder diameter or a 3/4 cylinder diameter. And we placed my GameCube right on it. And now I have a little seesaw for my GameCube. So I just placed it on the floor, used my legs to start actually doing these motion controls now, and gave this another attempt. And look at that. Not only am I able to do this so much easier now, but now with the added benefit of these my feet controls, I no longer have to worry about breaking my GameCube with the other hand, which is great. Because this level, because these challenges are just so strenuous on your wrist if you try to do it. But now going forward, I no longer have to use my wrist, so I can just use both hands for platforming, and I can use my feet for motion controls. This is gonna be fun. Let's continue on this game. It's probably not that long, but we'll see how long it is. They said there's only 6 spirits, God spirits, so let's find out their stories. But with that little exposition out of the way, let's move on to the next course. And honestly, I'm kind of glad I continued, because this course actually showed some more interesting mechanics. Not only is there a xylophone that plays a cute little theme of Mario's theme, but these music notes that show up, they actually provide platforms for you. Again, super cool. Sure, you could just run up the wall, but you actually need to grab all these middle coins for it. But plus this is pretty good practice. I'm getting used to the floor controls. Sure, the speedrun level was pretty nice practice itself too, but after I'm running up the walls over there, collecting those 21 coins, you move on to the next part of it, which is another roller coaster. You spin like a wild man all the way to both left and right side. You can stay there for longer if you want, to collect the floating balloons coming in and out. But just prepare, because this next one is going to be another raft one, followed by a ski jump. So just be mentally prepared for that. But as that all done, we move on to the next speedrunning course. This time, they have moving cups now. And this is kind of special to the speedrunning course, because all it does is just tell you which direction you need to lean in, and after that we go into a Yoshi ball again. I think the speedrun levels are the only ones that actually have the Yoshi ball. But you can quickly make it to that exit. Then you have to quickly go back and forth for the wrecking ball. Learn how to do that fast so you can get the time. And I feel like I'm 1 second off from the gold medal at that point, but I still didn't care. No. So we move on to the next level, which is a toughness challenge. And look, I've already stand corrected. This time the toughness battle is Raphael Raven again, but this time you're in the ball form. The absolute hardest form to control. And I already missed one part of it. But luckily there's so many other Raphael Ravens that you can still get a nice silver medal throughout it. It's actually kind of cool to be a ball throughout the entire level. feel like more levels should do that, but I feel like this is like one of the only ones that kind of does it. And it's an enemy killing challenge. Interesting. Well, anyway, next level over here is another speed running task. This starts you off in a cannon. And like I said, now that I have my feet path for it, preemptively holding a direction now, which is super nice to actually line everything up for some speedrunning tech. The next part of it is just an ice one, and like I said, now that I have feet controls, I can navigate these ice parts so much faster now. Same thing for the final bit of ice. It's actually so much, it feels so good to actually be able to do these challenges so much faster. And after that, we go to our first double one of this world. We're going to get introduced to Goonies once again. We're going to collect coins as well as collect enough egglings. And this is where things get a bit dicey, just because in this next part, a giant snowball is actually hidden at the very top, so all you have to do is lean right to be able to get the apple and the snowball. However, if you drop the snowball too early, you won't be able to get the top egg up there. Or top apple, I should say, up there. It's so weird, I keep calling them eggs, but the things inside of them are egglets. So, I feel like I can't be blamed for that. Well, either way, just make sure you collect as many of those things as you can. The only thing that'll probably give you trouble is the final part with the wrecking ball. Just because it is a kind of tight jump to make it to the coins and eggs up there. But you should be able to complete it with no problem. Let's move on to the next one, which is another kill all enemies mission, but again, it's piranha plants. And right away, you'll see there's bombs falling from the sky on parachutes. And you might have noticed, but you can actually control the direction the parachutes go by tilting the world left and right. And you want to do that to your advantage to get both of these piranha plants right away. Yes, that's what this whole level's based around, is killing piranha plants with the tilt controls. So just be wary on where the bombs spawn and where the piranha plants are, and be ready to tilt the screen for it. But after completing those two, we move on to our next part over here, which is another speedrun level. And this one actually starts combining a bunch of things. Not only are there these spike guys right in the beginning messing you up, but the next part of it actually reintroduces us back to those little ball pellets over here that the dentist had. And once again, we gotta utilize these guys to our advantage to make it all the way across the level. And this is where I'm saying, like, they really love hiding the goalposts in really weird places. And things start to get a lot more intense here. This would have been agony to try to do if I still had my GameCube controller in my hand for it. But now that I have it on my feet, it feels so much more manageable. Although I will say it is not completely perfect, just because it feels like sometimes it does get off caliber. Just because when you're holding down on it for a really long time, I feel like it kind of recalibrates in a weird way. So definitely watch out for that. And I will say, after speeding through this level, this is definitely the best theme in the entire game. I really feel like the rush of the god of speed, it just fills me with so much joy. Just hearing that upbeat, really fast tempo as you're going really fast, again to the goal. Oh, it just feels great. It just feels so good to have a theme to keep up with your pace of the game. Yeah, again, I tell you, they just love this Greed guy. They use him so much. They have so many levels dedicated to him, which is why I get really sick of hearing his theme in particular. But once again, this one's just kind of a simple platformer, so just make your way through it, grab all the coins. But we do get ourselves a nice little challenge again, where I can redeem myself on the bombs. But then comes the final level here, and this is where things start getting tough, because now they started combining this the god of speed and the god of greed together. So now you gotta pace yourself to see whether you want to go fast or prioritize getting the coins. Of course, you want to prioritize the coins, because I feel like the timer itself is always more generous than the actual coin it's given out. And as you can see, I may have got there on time, but I did not collect enough coins. So we gotta do that level a little bit later. However, after defeating that world, we move on to the automatically gets set to a cutscene where we see Bowser for the first time. Whoa! So you got locked up in this pop-up book too, eh? You say you're gonna lock me away? Ha! What a joke. But as you can see, Bowser here looks kind of different. He looks like a little pop-up. It looks like he's just a background element. And he got really flat. And let me tell you, this little mini boss here, this is super weird. Because right now it's just like a really tough Omni track, where you want to watch out for Bowser, kind of thing. And you just want to make sure you keep on moving. Because Bowser only stops to breathe fire on you once you stop yourself. Of course, there are things in your way that kind of force you to stop, or at least wait a little bit. So just keep track of all that stuff. But as long as you're constantly moving, Bowser will also stop breathing fire. And as you can see, I'm struggling really badly to try to keep up with these really tough platforming jumps, because there's so many spikes that just lead to death here. I literally lost almost every life I gained throughout the whole game right here, just because of how unready I am for some of these jumps. Because once Bowser starts breathing fire on you, it kind of screws up your whole tempo. We get revealed that this Bowser was nothing more than a god who loves surprises. He says to you, "Wee! Sorry to frighten you. It's me! Remember? Oh, you got a lot better at tilting things. Are you mad?" And then we move on to Chapter 5, The Tale of the Spirit of Kindness. Oh, great spirit, please return to our idle, peaceful land. Who's that? You're the hero who's come to save this land? I don't buy it. I am the spirit who treasures kindness above everything. If you want to get past here, collect 8 happiness medals. If you disturb the peace even the slightest bit, I will punish you, darling. Yep, and in this one, it is just a pacifism route now. Your whole goal now is to get through the whole stage without killing 4 enemies. It doesn't matter who they are, it doesn't matter what they're doing, or how they die, you just gotta make sure these guys don't die at all. Which is, again, really tricky, especially when you have to move a giant hammer to break these things, and they just walk in there. Again, a really fun little challenge. Because the way we learned how to kill these guys, the Tippy Taps, come make a surprising return. But now we have to wait for them to actually get off the platform before we can tilt. And after that, we move on to the next level, where the Spirit of Greed and the Spirit of Speed return once again. However, this is where this level introduces platforms that fall off the rails now. Again, another classic Yoshi staple that they waited for this late game to really punish you for going too fast and not observing your environment. So just keep a lookout for those guys. But with that, this just becomes a nice little harder iteration of this game. So let's continue on. But the good thing about these platforms falling is that once you're off screen, they literally immediately respawn, which is super nice if you mess up a time jump at one point. And I think the only thing to be worried about is just when you get to the ship, try not, just do like a couple spins, but don't go all the way up. Because remember, you are on a time limit, and it is pretty tight. But after all that, you should be able to get both of them nice and done. And as long as you remember how boos work, you should be all good. And with that, we make it to our next part over here. We have to kill 25 of these little ghost assholes. Now these ones I actually forgot the name of. I need to look them up. I think they're called, are they wisps? Nah, they're not wisps, right? But anyway, they're littering all over this thing, and they're literally one of Yoshi's most annoying enemies. However, they have an interesting function in this game, that if you ever tilt the screen, they actually change in the direction they're moving, from left to right to up and down, depending on where you tilt it. Which I find really cool. So if you ever see one that's going like off screen or in a weird direction, try tilting your screen and they'll be able to move in a new direction. But if you want a good reference point, just make sure when you get onto like the Ferris wheel part, you got at least like 17-ish. And then by the time you make it to the, after these little bead jumps, you should have at least around 20-ish. Because there are a lot of them in this level. But the main hardest part of it is just trying to consistently bounce off of them. Because as we know, back in the other game, you can bounce on them for some nice elevation and combo fodder, but it is really difficult. But with that, you can get the nice medal on this one. well, 70. We go on to the next one where we collect 70 coins. And this is where things get a little bit interesting. Because now we get introduced to fat guys now. And now we can just bounce on them continuously to try to catch coins on them. I really screwed this up multiple times. Then we go into this bead section where I screwed up again. What you want to do is literally bounce from one bead to another and try to get as many coins on the different routes as you can. But I think the main issue here is just on the very first one. Because I feel like you want to try to grab as many coins as you can from the Shy Guys as you can. But a hitbox on them, especially in Yoshi games in general, have always just been super wonky. Basically, I feel like the hitbox isn't always completely accurate, or there's some like weird hitbox that you can land on. Which again, is super misleading, which kind of sucks. But with enough practice, you can get 70 coins, and you should be all good. And with that, we go on to the next mission, another pacifist route one. Once again, they really love using Raphael for these pacifist ones. However, things get a little bit more interesting when we move on to a ball form. Now, like I said, the ball is one of the hardest ones to control, just because you don't have any direct influence over Yoshi. Your tilts are accurate, but not like super accurate. And again, since I'm doing this with my feet, it's hard to get like a nice middle ground with it, instead of just going max power in one direction. But once you clear that, we go on to this nice little stage over here, where Raphael just starts being super annoying, really forcing you to actually take it nice and steady. Which again, does not flow with my mindset right now, just because I'm in the not only am I in a speedrunner mindset for everything, but also just because of the god of speed herself. But after that, you should be able to make some nice platforms, so you can carefully make your way all the way up to preserve your metal. And with that, we move on to the next level. We get an interesting combo, where we have to do God of Swiftness as well as the God of Toughness together. To where now we have to kill as many Raphael Ravens, as well as platforming our way all the way up. And that, and it's actually super easy to do both. Again, getting gold medal will probably be the worst part of it, but since I'm not, you can literally just speedrun through all of that super fast. Then we go back to our old trusty couple duo, God of Greed and Swiftness. I think this one is like the most common double fairing. I feel like I get this one so much. But yeah, same thing. Just keep going really fast and collect as many coins as you can, and just be very careful on platforming through beads as well as platforming around the boat. Well, the boat you don't really have to be that careful. Just make sure you have a good stopping ground so you have enough time to make it to the other area. But you just gotta make sure you watch out for the falling platforms over here, because once you fall off of it, there's no way you'll be able to get all the coins you need. But after seeing that one, we move on to the next area over here, where we have to do another, where now we have to do collecting coins as well as killing as many enemies as we can. The target this time again is Raphael Raven. And this one is pretty simple, in fact. Just keep following the past arrows, and you should be able to get both of them pretty easily. Just make sure you don't fall off on the very last ice slopes. It's pretty easy to, and if you do, it will end your run right there. And we are going fast on this world. Anyway, we make it over to our next couple over here, the God of Greed. Again, I tell you, they just love pairing everyone with the God of Greed. And they always make his song overlap with the other ones. Anyway, we just want to make sure we collect as much money as we can without killing creatures. And they really test this grit at this point by having these fly guys that always carry these coins again. Yeah, a nice common appearance. Yep, just make sure you aim for the coins on that part, but everything else should be a piece of cake. Fly guy, the Shy Guys with the spider ball, and it's no problem. We've seen those guys many a times, and just make it to the end, where we have our first unique pairing of God of Cuteness and the God of Swiftness. But once again, we have to collect as many of those eggs as we can, as well as going as fast as we can. And right away, they deal with you a nice, nasty little hazard of dropping bombs at the same time as the apples, which is super rude. But just make it past that, and everything else should just be pretty easy. Then we move on to the next one, where this time it's going to be a final one, which is going to be pacifism and greed again. And honestly, nothing unique ever happens here. It just kind of forces you to take everything so much slower. And once again, they pair it off with a ball level, which again is super hard to control, so you are bound to make some mistakes, especially with the way I'm playing. But luckily, I managed to pass it, And we finish off World 5. And don't you worry, I will be going back to get that one medal over there. Just so I can say I got everything. So with that, we move on to World 6 over here, where we meet our final spirit, or final god, the God of Fright. Who's that? Ah, I see. Are you really that interested in knowing more about me? Really? Well, I love scary things. I'm the spirit who loves all things scary. Yep, and the God of Spookiness here, he rarely ever does anything on his own, and he actually overrides the God of Greed's theme. And what he does is that there's always an auto-scroller. He always just makes things an auto-scroller by having a death spike always chasing you. And the sound that it makes and the sound the music plays is so creepy, it fits the atmosphere so well that I just can't help but love it. Yeah, one of the better tracks for the game to actually make everything so much more interesting. And then adding the God of Greed on it is actually a pretty good combo thing for it. To give some added spice for it. It does kind of make, it is a dumb decision to not have the God of Scary things have a solo thing so you can get adjusted to it. But hey, we're literally on the final world, so they ain't playing around. But with that, we move on to 6-2 now. Where we see the God of Greed and the God of Beauty come through here. Now we just gotta make sure we just collect 30 coins and not kill anything. And nothing really too notable happens here. The only thing to make note is that you can actually crush these boulders with these giant coconuts. But other than that, nothing else. And if you haven't learned how to run on walls yet, well, you just gotta bend in the direction there and just start running. But other than that, it should be good for this world. Then we go on to 6-3, where we have the egglings to collect, as well as the scary screen. And like I said, the scary guy, he just literally makes everything into an auto-scroller. But honestly, gives it a nice sense of urgency. Again, I really love the song he uses here. And collecting the eggs in the meantime is actually a pretty nice little challenge. And oh my god, I literally died at the last second, huh? Great. Now I gotta do all this stuff all over again. And okay, you know what? I'm actually running really low on lives, and I'm just gonna, because if you haven't noticed, like, for each individual eggling you collect, it's actually stored in a museum. So there is kind of like a collectible thing here. And then for some reason, they just have they got a greed here with a solo just grab 50 coins. However, they do make it a fun little interesting challenge by introducing these weird platforms that drastically swing back and forth wherever direction you're going. And like I said, the creativity on these parts are actually really good. Then we move on to our next transformation, where they actually give you, I think this is technically a new one. Well, whatever, this Yoshi boat now can jump in the water. I don't really see a reason to, but especially since everything's just going super hard. And I think you can only jump when Yoshi is leveled. And just trying to get everything leveled while swinging back and forth is just really hard sometimes. But with that done, we move on to the next one, where the God of Speed and the God of Puffness team up, where you have to challenge to beat 20 enemies and make it to the goal within 90 seconds. Now, a fun little challenge, yeah? But of course, it always ends with the stupid Yoshi ball. And great. You really want to try to get every Raphael Raven within that ball section, because the end is literally right there, so make sure you get them all so you can finish the level pretty easily. Alright, then we move on to the next part, where once again the God of Greed and the God of Spookiness teams up for more coin collecting during an auto-scroller. Nothing too much to handle here. Hell, you can even get a lot of coins right before this end part too, so no need to hurry about that one. Alright, next up we've got the God of Greed and the Applin God again, the God of Love again. And for some reason they decided to bring back the slopes again. Yeah, we haven't seen this theme so long yet. Oh my god, that's a clutch save right there. And the other thing they really try to do for you is they start parachuting a lot of things down at you. Just make sure to avoid them as much as you can. I just noticed that too, like this is a huge Yoshi staple, just having parachutes drop in and out for everything. Again, it really makes missing some of those egg ones just so mean. Then we go over here, we go through this boo room right here. Get all the eggs here. And wow, I actually got my first gold medal in a while. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Alright, now we move on, and the God of Greed, of course, is being very greedy. And he just wants 75 coins for this next level. However, they start doing things that they haven't really done before, is actually utilizing the fly guys here. Fly guys would just start appearing with random coins, and honestly, you do need to grab as many as you can. Because this stupid boat section is so stupid and pretty hard to control. So definitely try to get as many of those coins from Shy Guys as you can, so you don't have to deal with this boat BS. Then once again, we go back on springs up here, and make our way to the end. And the window for completing that one is actually really tight, so be careful with that. And after that, we move on to our next little challenge run, which is the God of Love and the God of Speed all together. And they really love putting their death traps in this one. Because now they're combining the apples falling for parachutes, as well as timing everything for the bead balls. But once again, with some practice, you should be able to get everything, which is honestly, that one's actually one of the more fun levels in this area. Then wrap up with another God of Greed and Spookiness. But this one's really mean, because they actually put one of the end goals on a very timed path right up there. So if you're not ready for it, then you can get pretty screwed. And then right afterwards, they put in a very sensitive tilting section, to where if you aren't preemptively holding a direction for it, or at a standstill, you will not make it. But with that, the level should be pretty easy. So now we move on to the next one. And you know what, since I'm running out of lives, I'm just gonna go back to some other levels real quick and just grind out some coins and some one-ups. Cause I don't care, cause I'm just terrified this game could be just super mean and be one of those games where if you lose life, or not lose life, if you lose all your lives, you just restart the whole game. And this game is just so tragic, I really don't want to go through that. But yeah, and editor's note, I did check it out on other levels. See what happens when you game over. Nothing happens, it just restarts your level progress. Pretty much the only penalty is the checkpoints. So feel free to fail as much as you need to. Alright, we move on to the next level, where once again we go through a God of Greed and a God of Beauty once again. This one's more interesting though, just because of they put in so many Raphael Ravens here, and coins to dodge all around them. And then later on, they also put in a bunch of ball guys that you have to time everything. But then this stupid little BS thing, I don't know what the hell it is, you're just walking along and it gets killed by something off screens, which has caused me to fail this mission and try to do all over again. And the real difficult thing is just trying to time these stupid little bombs right here. Because parachute bombs come down from the sky, and if they hit an enemy, then you're screwed. Again, really kind of BS. But they really wanted you to be preemptively holding a direction sometimes. But after a couple tries, you can get it nice and clear. Thus making us to the final level. The God of Spookiness and the God of Toughness team up for the final level, where it's a nice blazing red hot challenge of killing as many Raphael Ravens as you can through the autoscroller. And of course, this one puts a test to how fast you can do everything, as well as your knowledge on how to navigate tight corners in order to get to everything. But after a couple tries, and the only real one to worry about is this very last one. But luckily you can just stomp on Raphael Raven as you're still tilted, thus completing the level. And the mission. With that all done, we finally got a medal on every single level here. Except for that one, so let me do that one real quick. And thus allows us to unlock Bowser's Cave. Yep, and this is the real final boss here. And as far as final bosses go, this one's literally nothing to worry about, or even really write about. Granted, it is for a Game Boy game, so you can't really hack it that much. I mean, there's only really been like one good platforming game with a good final boss, and it's kind of like Metroid. But I can't hold Yoshi to that same standards as Metroid. Because, you know, this one's more of a kid's game in general anyways. The way he works is that every time he's on a steady plane facing you, he'll shoot fire at you. But it isn't hard to deal with, but the way you want to be navigating everything, it's just making sure you get these bombs, either tilting them or tossing them over to him, and surviving. Yep, this whole thing is just pretty much a big grind fest right here. Nothing too special, nothing too much. It's pretty much, it's you fighting Bowser's mechanics. And then the second level up here, you have some spike balls, but the bombs are on parachutes this time. And for the final one, you're just shaking the Game Boy as fast as you can until Bowser touches lava. And with that, that's the end of the game. Bowser drowns in fire. Hey, stop it! What are you doing to the Koopa King? Look, I'll get you for this. I'll remember this day. And so, Yoshi succeeded in locking Bowser away, and the little spirits thanked him with all their hearts. Even Hungo, the book spirit, was happy. He was extremely grateful for the Yoshi's heroism, and he welcomed him with an extravagant meal. But Yoshi was not amused. Oh no, how rude of me, so said the great spirit Hungo. As they hurriedly returned to Yoshi's island to normal. This world truly is the best, and the Egglings will forever remember. They will never forget Yoshi's storybook deeds. Hey, where's Hungo? And where did the spirit who loves surprises go? Looks like even the spirit who loves surprises was allowed to return with Hungo. Yep, and that ends Yoshi's Topsy Turvy. Honestly, really fun little platformer right here. Again, really weird they give Yoshi so many, like, the weirdest gimmicks of Nintendo's history. But honestly, it kind of works for him in a lot of ways. Just because of his flutter jump, which allows a lot of extra leeway for his platforming. In this one, it just didn't really feel much like a Yoshi game now. Just for the fact he lost a lot of his abilities in this one. I guess I can't really expect the Game Boy to be able to handle all the eggs that the Yoshi can usually produce. But not to be able to throw or aim anything, just feels really left out. It just really feels like it's been another platformer kind of thing. Honestly, this game is pretty fun. And I'll say I might try to 100% it, but that's probably for on my own solo thing. But like I said, pretty fun game. Really wish the gimmick wasn't as bad as it was. Pretty fun that I was able to be this resourceful, so yeah. Well guys, till next time, hope you enjoyed this little weird adventure of Yoshi's. Till next time, later.